somebody that broke into the public consciousness with a sex tape wearing a thong would now have $1 billion business of thongs. Hi, everybody. Diane Gilman here, proud host of Fashion Thursdays with Diane and Too Young to Be Old. But today it's about the myth of celebrity. Why we buy or not celebrity-centric brands. And I'm going to admit to you, I have, and in strange ways too, ways that you probably wouldn't really pinpoint me on. But we are awash in celebrities. Oh my God. It's award season. It's entertainment and music award season. And they are everywhere. And I just wanted to kind of give you a historical outline, since I'm probably the oldest one in the audience here, of how this all came together. So, Gloria Vanderbilt, poor little rich girl, that was her title, because as a kid, she was fought over who was going to get custody of her. She came from the Vanderbilt fortune. These are the people that built every railroad in America. And it was a vast fortune. And so she was truly American royalty. But what made her so interesting and such incredible fodder for the fire of, celebrity and wealth and all kinds of incredibly wild stories was the fact that she actually was an artist. So as she grew up alone. She grew up isolated. She went through, I don't know how many husbands, 4, 5, 6, but that vast wealth and that social position. So 1976, somebody who I actually was in business with when he cut all ties with Gloria Vanderbilt was Murjani. He went to Gloria. She was an artist with all these paintings of flowers and lots of color. And he said, I want to buy your paintings and make scarves out of them. And somehow, because at the time you had to pay to get anything that was cotton worthy or above 50% cotton into America, and Murjani's family owned all of the rights to how much cotton as a manufacturer you could import. He thought, let's do jeans in those colors that go along with those scarves. And do you know something? Her vast wealth, the fact that she had already had like 15, 20 books written about her in Vogue magazine and Bazaar constantly. She had wealth, social position, an artistic nature, and she was pretty good at being interviewed. Moen took a chance. I knew Murjani really well. And she was also a model, but a lot of rich women became models during the 60s. Vogue loved the fact that you could be beautiful and be wealthy. Most of them were like, she's a great hostess in Palm Beach, but actually Gloria Vanderbilt was different. She had real talent. So he said, let's do jeans. And at that time, in 1976, Gloria Vanderbilt jeans began. Do you know today it is still in the top 10 jeans brands in America? Yeah, it has had tremendous lasting power. Gloria Vanderbilt died a few years ago. You may be familiar with her son, Anderson Cooper, on CNN. It became, for Murjani, a $200 million luxury denim brand that for the beginning years was only done in one color, indigo. That was considered the classy color for denim. And America so bought into it. So I always question myself and think, why do you buy a brand like this? Do you believe you're going to somehow reflect vast wealth by wearing it? And by the way, it was a swan. That was the logo on the back pocket. And they used to call all the wealthiest, most beautiful society women swans. So that was clever too. But what do you think you're going to get out of this? You're going to, the light is going to shine on you, and you're going to be an American heiress. You're going to have vast wealth. You're going to have incredible social position. You're going to be multi-leveled, talented. I don't know, but the fact that 50 years later, it is still one of the top 10 jeans brands, absolutely mind-boggling. So I'm going to do just one Gloria Vanderbilt story, because as Gloria Vanderbilt was phasing out, I phased in with the Murjani organization. I did not work directly with Mr. Murjani, but I did work with his partner who was in charge of all marketing, and they put this gentleman, Wally Singer, in charge, and he was brilliant, in charge of Gloria. So Gloria, and at that time myself also, you're traveling all over America. There were what? 112 different department stores. So you're always at a department store. You're always doing some kind of special event. So I flew into Austin, Texas. This had to be, say, about 1980. Yeah. And it turned out, coincidentally, I barely knew the Murjani organization at the time, but I knew how famous it was, and I knew that they had Gloria Vanderbilt and how successful it was. He was there. He was assigned to travel everywhere with Gloria. And they had made a couple of very fatal mistakes when they signed up Gloria Vanderbilt. And one of them was she had requests that were sort of, they weren't exactly worded precisely. Like, I want fresh flowers in my hotel rooms and my homes every week. And they're like, oh, sure. Okay. And you're thinking, all right, you're going to walk into your hotel suite and there's going to be a big bouquet of flowers and that's going to be good. No, 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 no. No, actually, whether she was in one of her multiple homes or not, or a hotel suite, or on the private jet that she demanded take her everywhere, all of those locations got a giant amount of flowers that she decided on, that she specifically called out, and that she ordered. And they were literally being charged and having to spend $150,000 to $175,000 a week on flowers. Oh my God, small mistake here. Look at the small script the next time you craft a contract. Mr. Singer is along with Gloria Vanderbilt in Austin, and they're going to do, and I believe it was Austin, to do Good Morning Texas. Sounds good, right? Now, remember, this is the late 70s, early 80s. Television is relatively new and unique, especially morning television. So when you do a show, and it's actually not so different today, like Good Morning America, or you're doing Good Morning Texas, there's a lot of different guests. I understand how to get in touch with Wally Singer because I want to tell him I've landed. I want to tell him I'm at Neiman Marcus. I want to tell him I'm waiting for our runway show. I want to check in. I get him on the phone. I'm in the green room. He's in the green room at Good Morning Texas, and he is frothing at the mouth. He is screaming, where the hell is she? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I'm like, whoa, what has happened? What are you talking about? Well, it turned out Gloria Vanderbilt is waiting to go on. They're doing her makeup, they're steaming her outfit, everything you would do for a celebrity. And she found out that the feature before her was a trained poodle act. Yeah, poodle as in poodle dog. So when he shows up as a representative for the Murjani Corporation, which is her manufacturer, her everything. She goes ballistic on him and says, "Do you realize who I am? I am a Vanderbilt. Vanderbilts do not follow trained poodle acts." She jumps up, grabs her jacket, crying, screaming at him, "You betrayed me, you betrayed me," and runs out of the studio. And I think it took them a day and a half to find her. And this, I think for all of my career, I've had recognition, but a small time celebrity at best, would never be allowed to act that way. Who could never throw a diva fit like that? And I was just like, I've always been on the fringes of this, but it was just a story I had to tell. Between the $175,000 a week flower bill and don't ever have me follow a trained dog act again story. I think that was one of my first real windows into the culture of diva in fashion. 1985. Who comes into the picture? Charlie's Angels. Jaclyn Smith, who, by the way, is now on my alma mater on Teleretail, HSN. But first ever deal with a big box retailer. So Jaclyn Smith, she was a good girl, Charlie's Angel. She was the perfect epitome of American beauty. Nothing controversial about her. Nothing harsh about her. Nothing scandalous. Not like Gloria Vanderbilt. And you know what? She was honestly and truthfully America's sweetheart. And it's also interesting to think about the timing. 1985, who was best known American female on the planet? Madonna. The exact opposite of Jaclyn Smith. Controversial, harsh, brash, sexual. That was a time when Kmart, which is where they premiered Jaclyn Smith, sportswear. They existed. They were one of the two big box stores in America. Walmart and Kmart eventually merged and then disappeared. And I think she was America's finest moment as a female in that particular time period when everything was like very rebellious and leg warmers and, a lot of kind of punky clothing from Madonna, and all the young girls wanted to be Madonna. And so I thought that was fascinating. So with Gloria Vanderbilt, you had fashion and lifestyle and a reflection of an impossibly wealthy and adventurous life. And with Jaclyn Smith, you had television. The Good Girl, Charlie's Angels also represented something no one had seen on television. Capable women who did a man's job. But Jaclyn Smith always reflected a very quiet and non-controversial all-American beauty. Now, 1991, here comes one of my favorites. Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor was, from the mid-1940s on, another American sweetheart, the epitome of old Hollywood glamour, and a woman who, quite frankly, was a train wreck every other minute. She had 8 husbands. The last one, always remembered his name, Larry Fortensky, was a construction worker who she met when getting her house fixed or something. But she was also someone who had led a very excessive life, made a ton of incredible movies, always looked so beautiful, and never, ever, ever played anybody trashy in those movies. And perhaps she was also most famous for her marriage, divorce, and remarriage to Richard Burton, and the amount of mind-boggling, insanely expensive diamond jewelry he bought her. And she became as well known for her mishaps and her missteps as she did for the diamond jewelry. And she led a hard driving life. She had a lot of health problems from 45 onwards. And I can never forget, in 1991, they did the Elizabeth Taylor comeback. And I was fascinated with it because I was 45 and I was wondering, oh my God, I see that whole age wave coming to wash over me. And wow, I do not know who her stylist was. And you didn't even think of stylists back then. These women, like Elizabeth Taylor, were huge movie stars in the golden age of Hollywood. And you would parallel them to whoever was designing their gowns and doing their makeup for the movies, most of which were gigantic and hits that they were in. There was no such thing as a personal stylist, but I'll tell you what, somebody got a hold of her. And for the first time ever, they redid a store's complete look. So she had her signature black hair, but she had pure white streaks running through it. And it was big, like mine. And it was very dramatic. And now you see it in a lot of hair pieces and stuff. But back then, you never, ever even dreamt of that. They made her lose about 50 or 60 pounds. They totally redid her wardrobe. And then, based on all the publicity over the Richard Burton jewelry, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of jewelry, they came out with, actually, I think the first real celebrity based perfume, White Diamonds. And I remember them reintroducing her to the public, and me, who is now inching my way towards 50 and terrified of it, thinking, oh yeah, this is who I want to be. I want to be her. That was the first time I believe I actually ever engaged in a celebrity driven launch and product. No, I never wore the perfume. And they actually call it, it's sort of sad and mean, old lady perfume. And yeah, she was kind of an old lady, and they rarely ever again actually showed a celebrity with mostly white hair. So you could say it was white hair with black streaks or black hair with white streaks, but it was fabulous. And of course, they have her coming down to launch a perfume, this insane staircase. And she's in some black and white, totally sequined, totally glittery evening dress. And she's wearing like $3, 4, 5, 6 million worth of white diamonds. That was a midlife makeover. It gave middle-aged women tons of hope about their own future, and they bought into it. And after they did White Diamond, and it was so successful, they did Black Diamond. And then I remember somebody came on HSN, and that was a woman who had designed all the famous caftans for Elizabeth Taylor because she was really too up in years to be wearing super tight form-fitting dresses anymore. But the caftans were fantastic too. I don't think they ever sold them directly. But I remember thinking, oh my God, I hope somebody can redo me in my late 50s the way they redid her, which of course nobody did. But wow, that was another whole statement on a woman and a woman aging and a woman sliding off the charts and then grabbing herself and getting right back on the horse again and looking better than ever. And that was just phenomenal. And then, she had led a really wild life. And eventually her health problems overtook her. But visually, I was just amazed and thought, okay, you know what? This gives me hope. You can get a grip on yourself in your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, and beyond. And now, just to show you how different every year can be, we're not even going to hop up another decade. Hi, today we're talking about Particlar. This is a series of supplements, and let me tell you what, if you are aging with any sort of inflammation that becomes one of the biggest issues in your everyday life, and swelling and joint pain, oh, I'm on it 100%. I've begun a new vitamin regime from Particlar that has literally changed my life. And I feel so much better on a daily basis. Try it out with a discount using our code below. You are going to love it. Now we're going to go to 1998. P. Diddy. So, black music takes over. It's powerful. It's hitting a chord with the youth market, the African American youth market. Bloomingdale's wants the opportunity, along with Macy's. I believe they were just beginning to have talks about merging, and they come to P. Diddy in 1998, just 7 years after White Diamonds is launched. Old Hollywood glamour, old lady perfume, and they start Sean John. And what is that? Well, it's brilliant. It is the recognition that there is an entire American segment of potential customer out there who is ignored, overlooked, never been touched, and it's called Sean John. Now, this is also the first time that any celebrity driven product is from a male. And he milked it for everything you got. I mean, it was upscale. He overtook the men's department at Bloomingdale's. It was insane. You know, truthfully, it completely shattered tradition. He had an exclusive, or actually, they had an exclusive on him at Bloomingdale's and Macy's. And, you know, he was a cultural phenomenon. Now, he's fallen pretty far, but he really energized men's fashion. He energized the African American market. He became the number one celebrity representative for hip hop. And at the time, and he certainly was good at it, whatever is going on today is a whole different thing. He represented in a very opposite way, but just as powerful a way, what Gloria Vanderbilt represented in the mid 70s. Wealth, style, and really breaking the ranks of tradition. John John went up to $525 million a year, just truly between Bloomingdale's and Macy's. Well, he tapped into a new market, and I have to say, no matter what you think of him, the guy was an unstoppable bullet speed train that just went into uncharted territory. Aha. But now we're going to talk about the totally uncharted territory. Number one, Rihanna, 2017, she forms Fenty. It's perfume, it's makeup. She just added skincare. And there is a whole segment of the African American female population that wants to sing like her, that sings along with her, that wants to look like her. And they find when I ask some of my workmates, what do you like about Rihanna? Because it's difficult for me at 80 years old and not being into a hip hop mode to understand it. They say she's very authentic. So I must say she makes really, really good lip glosses and lipsticks. They're pretty banging. They really are. And so she took a targeted audience that nobody else had been able to break into, which was African American foundations and makeup, in the 40s and the 50s, and even with movies like with Hattie McDaniel's Gone with the Wind, there was no choice for African American women. Foundation? Are you kidding me? I mean, it was impossible, literally, for them to look good on camera, on screen, because they weren't considered important enough to have choices. So Rihanna really has carved herself out quite a little hip hop lifestyle um, brand, and on top of it all, she doesn't get in trouble. It's not like Cardi B, who's slugging some other girl in a Brooklyn bar every other week and going to court. Rihanna has really kept it classy and clean. And the other thing that I truly respect about her is she gets behind her brand. She wears the lipstick. She wears the makeup. So you're almost constantly getting a lesson in how to use it. But let's talk about how to use the internet. Nobody on the planet, whether you love her or you hate her, can do it better than Kim Kardashian. And when you think about her brand, Skims, how perfect. Somebody that broke into the public consciousness with a sex tape wearing a thong would now have $1 billion business of thongs. Well, pardon me. Let's call it performance shapewear, shall we? But I'm talk about coming full circle. Talk about the irony of it. Also talk about watching a master manipulator and marketeer put it together. So anything she touches, anything she models, anything she wears is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And the kind of ironic thing is it is underwear that is seamless and it's made on a certain kind of circular knitting machine that actually one of my friends from Retail discovered about 30 years ago. And she started doing that kind of underwear. And it was wildly popular. It was the first time anybody ever introduced a bra for a big busted woman that didn't have that cut in underwiring to it. So it was revolutionary, but she didn't have the bravado or the reach that Kim Kardashian does. And when Kim Kardashian says that Skims is $1 billion brand, well, we don't know what that means. It could mean $1 billion at retail, $1 billion at cost, $1 billion at wholesale, but let's just settle on the fact that it's big and that she built up her social media recognition first so that almost anything she launches is going to be a success. And because she can also look very much like somebody from one of the Saudi Emirates or Abu Dhabi, and they want to sophisticate themselves, they jump all over a brand like this. I have bought it, and I bought it for two reasons. Number one, she did something incredibly smart among a million things she's done that are smart, which is she made it all size inclusive. And if you're a retailer that wants to buy Skims, you must buy it up to 4X. You must. You're obligated to. So she, the woman that represents the most non-inclusive lifestyle ever. Everybody wants to be her, but of course you can't. She made it inclusive in her brand. I thought that was absolutely so smart. And now Nike has come to her and they want to partner with Kim Kardashian and Skims, and they are hoping to replace Kim Kardashian from Michael Jordan. So whatever they did with Michael Jordan, maybe their best bet for sales at this point are Air Jordans or shoes. But she's got these circular knitting machines, which gives you no seams. So it really does cut down on bulk. And honestly, I did buy her underwear because she was the only one where I could find my size in, it's embarrassing, fuchsia, because I was going to some party where you had to wear pink in the era of Barbie. Honestly, it was fine. It wasn't extraordinary, but I'll tell you what, they nailed the color. And it was definitely on the comfort driven side. So now we are all waiting with bated breath to see what she does with Nike. So you have an international, globally recognized two brands, Nike and Skims. You have a globally recognized name, which maybe has lost a teeny bit of its luster, but not much, and a reality star, Kim Kardashian. How can you lose? How could you possibly fail? And I, like probably three-quarters of the world, will be fascinated to see what they come up with. I think Nike is an extremely talented organization. And I also think if she said yes, which I know she did, to this development, she liked what she saw. It made sense to her and all her advisors. And that's the other thing I really think, that she surrounds herself with very smart, very savvy people. And she represents so many different levels of celebrity in one package: reality star, fashion star, sexual message star, family star. I mean, it just goes on and on. This is a phenomenon where I talk to so many people who say, I hate Kim Kardashian. Ugh, no, I don't watch that show. You know what? Hate her or not hate her. When you say you hate her, about Kim, you're talking about being jealous. And you're also shutting yourself off from trying to understand how somebody becomes the most recognized female and biggest star and probably businesswoman on the planet in 2025. Don't close yourselves off to that. You don't have to love her to try and see where her talent lies and what her message is. But I'm going to say it again. I think the world is so circular, and I think it's so hilarious that she started out with the sex tape. And trust me, that girl's got great karma, because if she had my mother and you showed my mother a sex tape of me, my mother would have killed me. She would have grabbed a knife in the kitchen and I'd be gone. But Kim's mother said, well, it's out there. And I heard that the first question her mother asked her was, did you look good in it? And from there, it's all history. So, Skims, $1 billion. And that is also, I have asked so many young women, why do you care about her? They just love her entire fantasy life. They love what she wears. They love the jewelry. They love the simple interactions with family in the reality show, which I find intensely boring. But they feel like she's a woman in control who has and creates her own adventures. So we're going to close the show, the podcast, with transparency and a very honest admission. No, I never bought a Gloria Vanderbilt jean. No, I've never bought anything from Jaclyn Smith at Kmart, even though I did like Charlie's Angels. No, I never bought any perfume from Elizabeth Taylor, although I absolutely loved her comeback look. Sean John, not me, didn't really understand it. Rihanna, not me, don't really understand it. Kim Kardashian bought a bra and a panty. No complaints, but don't really wear them very much because they're fuchsia pink. But Selena Gomez, who just recently declared herself a billionaire, she is a professional great cook. And I started watching her show where she had celebrity chefs on, and she was selling our place cookware, which is supposed to be lead-free, poison-free, non-stick, da-da-da, and you only need one piece of it. I'm watching this, and honest to God, I thought to myself, maybe if I buy this cookware, I'm going to become as good a chef as she is. Everything looks so easy. And this cookware's pretty, and it's in a color that works with my kitchen. And I really, really want to become a better cook and do direct foods for myself and my guests and friends. Yeah, I did it. I bought the cookware because I was just sure that Selena Gomez's talent for being a chef. It was like being a celebrity chef, that glow was going to work into me and totally elevate my meals. And I leave you with this. It didn't. I'm still the same terrible cook I was from about 2 years ago. I liked her cooking show. It was always like outdoors. I liked all the guests, but it didn't do anything for me. But I still have the cookware. So the myth of celebrity-centric buying, I'm sure in some way, shape, or form, every single one of us has at least experienced this once in our lifetime and felt motivated and somehow believed we were either going to gain more beauty or more social status or more artistic talents or become a chef or whatever. So I would love for you guys to share some of your stories and whether that tsunami of celebrity has washed over you. And just like the love bug, you were caught by the celebrity bug. Thanks for listening. Thank you so much for listening to Too Young to Be Old podcast. The episode may be over, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at The Diane Gilman, or visit our website, thedianegilman.com. If you like the show, leave us a rating or a review and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And until then, don't forget, age is just a number. Together, we'll prove that we are all too young